How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Every single child in the US will buy Bitcoin. At least that's what it looks like right now with some news that just came out. Whether they like it or not, people will be buying Bitcoin for their kids, or they'll be given Bitcoin for their kids. It's kind of crazy. Let's go through that along with some crazy BlackRock news, some of the big events that are going to happen this week. If you don't mind, hit subscribe so you can see future videos just like this. Also, if you want to trade crypto, right now, BLOFIN, which is one of the places I've traded for the longest period of time, they have a special competition where you can get part of this $4.2 million prize, which is just nuts. There are about 10 days left on this. You can even win a CYBERTRUCK. So if you trade with the link underneath the video, or if you've signed up for BLOFIN before under my link, you can start trading in just a few minutes. You don't have to KYC, and you can start trading and get some of these great prizes. Of course, the more you trade, the more likely you are to win. So check this out underneath the video. You might as well get some free stuff if you're going to be trading. Now, like I said, Bitcoin, there's some crazy news on it. Let's just look at the price action real fast. You can see this trend line that we finally flipped above. We got rejected right around 110.5 thousand, which is where we got rejected at the beginning of June. And now we're below this trend line. Looks like we're trying to fight to get above it. If we go up to 108,500, then we'll be above this trend line pretty significantly. Maybe we can flip it back into support and then continue this rally up. But at this point, we did hit a higher low. I mean, look at this, right? A higher low of 107.3 thousand. If you look at this trend line too, yeah, we're getting very close to the intersection of these trend lines. There's going to be some volatility this week for a couple different reasons. There are a lot of big events happening. Let's start here, though. Just 2 days ago, we had a shortened trading day for the American markets because of July 4, and we had about $500 million worth of Bitcoin that was bought. Maybe even a little bit more, 600 million. IBIT with another big day, 226 million. FBTC with 237 million. And ARKB with 114 million. It's insane how much they brought in inflows in this short period of time. They're up to nearly 700,000 Bitcoin. Keep in mind that they just announced in 2023 in June that they were going to try to get a Bitcoin ETF. They filed about 2 years ago. Then a year and 6 months ago, they got approved. And now it's generating more business revenue for BlackRock than their S&P 500 index fund. I think it's third or fourth on the list we just talked about recently, but it's third or fourth on the list, and most likely will pass and become the number one income producing ETF for BlackRock here in the next maybe few weeks, depending on price action. It's about 10% away. Keep in mind they have inflows as well, so it's not like Bitcoin even has to go up 10%. When you have inflows of 233 million a day, you're gonna get to that 10% mark fairly soon. This is some pretty crazy news. Part of the BBB is that every U.S. child will receive $1,000 of S&P when they are born. That is kind of crazy for a couple different reasons. One, this means that there's going to be a lot of money printed. Obviously, this is just a small portion of the bill, but you start thinking, okay, a couple million kids are born, 3, 4, 5 million kids. That's, $5 billion hitting the stock market, right? Now, what's even crazier is that likely, very soon, MicroStrategy will be included in the S&P 500. So very soon, we could have a scenario where every child, every newborn, all of a sudden is given exposure to Bitcoin. And it's not going to be a huge amount. Like MicroStrategy might just be 0.25%, right, of the S&P 500, or maybe even less, right? Let's say it's 0.25%. That means every child's going to get $2.50 of Bitcoin, which isn't a lot, to be fair, but it's more than every other nation gives their kids, at least as far as I know. I don't think there's anything like this right now. I could be wrong, but they'll have exposure to Bitcoin at a very young age. And I've talked about this before. If you want to be number one in crypto, which Trump says that he does want to be number one, the fact is you don't necessarily have to buy it directly as a nation. Like, that would be fantastic. That's probably the most clean-cut way to be number one, to make sure that you have exposure to Bitcoin. But also, if your residents, if your citizens have a lot of exposure to Bitcoin and it does really well, then you're going to be a very wealthy nation, right? Like, if you have a nation of very wealthy people, it's going to make you more revenue. It's going to increase property taxes, or it's going to increase the value of homes because people will bid up homes more. People will do well economically. Like, if everyone was worth more, it'd be fantastic. And the key is, too, it's not like everyone's worth more in US dollar terms, but everyone's basically the same. It's not like we're just printing into oblivion. I mean, we are, but it's not like everyone's just given $1 million in US currency and the dollar's devalued. No, you're getting access to a asset that's going to go up in value versus every other currency in the world too. So, like, you're becoming wealthier as a nation versus other nations, not just devaluing your dollar. So this could be really good. Obviously, this is just a small amount in the grand scheme of things for Bitcoin, but still, I mean, $1,000 for a baby is kind of a big deal. I mean, that's a way to force savings on someone at a very young age. Now, if you take the S&P 500 general return or average return of 10%, and you're going to do this over the next 60 years, this $1,000 could be worth $304,000. Now, inflation adjusted, it's going to obviously be worth less, but it's still $60,000 if people keep it invested for that whole 60-year period. I think it's just one more form of stimulus, one more thing that will get votes for, for some of the Republicans in the future. But yeah, it is very fascinating. Now, this week we have a couple big things. The tariffs are supposed to come back on July 9, which I don't know if you've looked at the calendar. It's fairly soon, right? Like, that is, I think that's Wednesday off the top of my head. That's coming up fast. He's pushed them back. We could see him push them back again, or just say, hey, every nation that we haven't already negotiated with is going to see 10% tariffs or worse. And these are what we're giving. We'll negotiate going forward. But yeah, we could see tariffs start again this week. So be ready for some volatility. When the market opens Monday, we only have 2 more days until these are supposed to come back. And we do have some big economic events as well. On Tuesday, we have CPI. And then on Wednesday, we have PPI. So these are supposed to come in fairly low. I mean, we're talking about 0.1% and 0.1% on headline CPI and headline PPI. So yeah, be ready in case there are some bad readings, especially with some of the good job numbers that we got last week. We could see some downside pressure. Of course, though, I am extremely bullish. I think we're going into a time where there's just going to be a lot of money printing. So any kind of asset, I think, is going to increase in value. Of course, then you have to look at the denominator, right? If we're printing 10% a year, you need a 10% return unless you have fixed expenses like a home or mortgage. Of course, the property taxes change, but if you can fix some of those costs, then you can still gain in value even if you're just getting the same as the money printer. But let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. If you do want to trade, there are links to BLOFIN underneath the video. There are links to BYDFi as well. We're setting up a new trading bonus there. Also, a link to BTCC. And if you want to join the Telegram, I give early access to videos. So I plan on recording a video right after this. And yeah, I'll give early access to the Telegram before everyone else. It's totally free. I just give early access, exclusive access to videos, and then sometimes I chat in there too. Thanks so much. See you soon.